and others. So, you are all welcome to this session. As I said to those who joined me early on, my name is Margaret Jackson, and I'll be your co-facilitator for this session on, hey, you see the session on business ethics and integrity.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you're all warmly welcome. I said I'm the co-facilitator. I mean, there's another facilitator who will be talking to you. This session will be approximately 2 hours. And I love quotes. Oh, I love quotes. But before I share my quotes with you, the quotes that I love so much with you, I want you to take some time off and listen to this, because to me, it's so important to this session.
You want to bamba? You want to G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough to drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes? Oh, you're telling me who blends you? And who? Ha! All right, take it easy, and let's place it behind the waist. Okay. This one of his over no we can't use. Go school, you go the fam tools. And all the parameters that you want to form too. See, even your papa not to save you. For all the cannabis they want to put it down to. Man, all the niggas don't find you. Because that nigga when you play on my don't move. Oh boy, don't move. Ha, hey, come on, let's go. Chevy make a tamuwa. Say my kina go join God. You want to bamba?
You want to bamba?
You want to G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, get you the wrong, get a coffee drink, what a drop cup. Hey, Jabba, you see how the thing goes.
So all that I'm trying to say is that you want to chill with the big boys, you want to chill with the big girls, then please listen to my quote. Because I believe that this quote is very important to what we're doing. And I love it, and I love quotes. You know, you want to chill with the big boys and girls. If you want to sit on the table, whether you believe it or not, anti-corruption law in your country, whether you believe it will be enforced, it may not be enforced. But the multinational companies are looking for it. They are looking for companies that are compliant. They are looking to partner with companies that have compliant systems, that believe in ethics. So you want to bamba with the big boys and girls, those quotes you should never forget. That is my message for you. Even if you forget anything at all, ethics and compliance, anti-corruption is so important if you want to bamba with the big boys and girls. This session is being recorded, and I'm sure you got the signal that is being recorded. If you got it, please click got it so that we can share with you later on in the session. As I mentioned early on, my name is Margaret Jackson. I'm a workplace learning consultant and the managing partner of Rainbow Consult. We were based in Accra. Now we are working remotely. I sit on the board of the Leaders Board as the chair. I also sit on the advisory board of the Learning and Performance Institute, which is based in the UK. I'm a certified coach. I've been certified by the International Coaching Federation. I've been training and working with SMEs for more than 25 years. I can say for 30 years now. So I play in that field and I love working with SMEs. Oh, I love it. I love it. These are my contact details if you want to get in contact with me after this session. And as I said, my company is Rainbow Consult. This is where I hand over to my colleague to also introduce herself.
Yes, hello everybody, and a warm welcome to you all. We are really excited that this session is happening today at this time. My name is Baba Jackson, and I'm a partner at Rainbow Consult. I am a certified online learning facilitator. IFC said I am a Learning and Performance Institute, certified online learning facilitator. I'm also a Learning and Performance Institute certified designer of online learning. I am also an expert facilitator for the Learning and Performance Institute. And that means that I go around teaching and certifying other facilitators in online learning, design of online courses. I go around teaching and facilitating certifying other facilitators for the Learning and Performance Institutes. I'm also a professional trainer for the Center for International Private Enterprise, CIPE, and we will talk more about CIPE this morning because the whole session basically is about CIPE. And you are in good hands today because just a few months ago, about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, CIPE actually had an awards occasion, an awards ceremony for all its trainers and facilitators in its network in Africa. And I was recognized as one of the facilitators in the CIPE network who add a lot of value to the network and to the facilitators and to the work that we do. And so we are passionate about strengthening small enterprises and private enterprises in their compliance and anti-corruption and their corporate governance. And so we are really, really looking forward to this session with you today. I will hand over back to my colleague Margaret, who will take the first half of this session today.
Hello?
Margaret, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. For some funny reason, I didn't see my mic going up and down, so I thought you couldn't hear me.
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay, thank God you can hear me. So since we have introduced ourselves, for those who joined and haven't done so yet, could you kindly introduce yourselves in the chat box and tell us your expectation for this session? I think I've read those that came early on, so I will move on and I will get back to you as you write your expectations and where you work. It is so important to us. Could you kindly start writing your expectation for this session and where you work and your expectation for this session? What do you hope to learn from us in this session? Thank you so much. Now I asked you to share what you do. I'm going to share mine. If you don't share what you do, voila. My expectation is to be able to have fun with you as I bring CIPE and ethics first to you. It is also to learn as much as I can from you. So those are my expectations. Now let's hear yours. And I'm going to talk about us. I'm going to talk about our specializations. So I've given you the opportunity. One can. As for me, I build capacity of SMEs. We also go into human resource management. We design manuals. If you have staff and you want us to design bespoke manuals for them, that's our forte. We also take people through strategic management, research and compliance, as we have said. And we have a tool that helps with your project management, known as the Independent Strategic Management Tool. Then our certifications and accreditation. Because I'm a master trainer for the IFC, we are expert facilitators for the LPI. We certify traders, we certify institutions, we give accreditations to organizations and institutions for their learning departments. We are big on that. If you visit our website, www.rainbow-consult.com, you will see all the different accreditations and certification programs that we hold. Look at our vision. We want organizations to fulfill their potential. And we want them to perform and we want them to be competitive. Now let's look at our mission as an organization. We partner with our clients to ensure that they become efficient and profitable. Now that I've said this about Rainbow, it is also, oh, I see the expectations coming in. So now that I've said this, I will pause here and look at your expectations. And after looking at your expectations, we'll look at CIPE. It is because of CIPE, we partner CIPE to provide services. So we'll talk to you about CIPE. But before I talk to you about CIPE, let me take a few from what has come in. Na Echawa said, I'm a nurse and a skin and hair care formulator. Wow. We produce fresh, eco-friendly, handmade cosmetics made with love. I like that. Na Echawa, I didn't see your expectation. Then I hear my name is Monica Vanessa, CEO of M Events and Ushering Agency. My expectation for today is how this educative session can help my business grow so well. We will show you how you can bamba with the big boys and girls. So don't worry, be happy. Now let's move on to CIPE. So you see, Rainbow Consult is the only, CIPE is the Center for International Private Enterprise, and we are the only partner in Ghana. In our capacity as CIPE partners, Rainbow has the experience and expertise, you know what, in strengthening the private sector through governance and training for organizations and SMEs. So we have conducted leadership and governance training for boards and leaderships of several organizations in Ghana and beyond. I'll give you a few examples. We've done this for Gridco, Amnesty International. For example, we have had governance manuals prepared for organizations as well, for GFG, which is the Ghana Federation of Disabled Groups. So we have done this for so many organizations. Now let's look at the session objective. What do we want to achieve by the end of this session? By the end of this session, we should be able to investigate the need to prevent corruption for sustainable success of organizations. Wow. Explain how a company can get listed on Ethics First. Baba will be talking about Ethics First. So now that I've said Ethics First, I'm sure you're wondering, what is it? Baba will talk to you about Ethics First. Then let's look at our structure, the topics that we'll be treating. Let me look at the first topic, the business case for mitigating corruption, which I will take, fundamentals of business integrity, experience sharing, later we will do that. And let's look at the focus. This workshop's focus is learner-centered. It is about you. So I'm going to work with you. It is not a lecture. It is not a webinar. It's a workshop. So I'll be working with you. Let's look at a few ways of working. We call it ways of working. Most people call it ground rules. So it's communication and ground rules, the same as ways of working. I've said it already, please get involved. It is said that you take as much out of any meeting as you put in. It is what you put in that comes out. Please, 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 with a little cherry on top. If you have any issue, raise your virtual hand and I will call you, or I will attend to you, or my co-facilitator will attend to you. And I will be teaching you how to do that very soon. Get involved. We are getting involved. Provide honest and constructive feedback when you are asked to do that. Notify us if you have any concern. Now let's look at Zoom. Before I look at Zoom, I've seen Tiwa at the past days from the chat box. So I'm moving from what I'm saying to the chat box. She says, I expect to get funding for my business. This session is not about getting funding for your business. It is about how to run your business in an ethical way so that you can partner. So in a roundabout way, you can partner with global organizations. So now let's look at using Zoom. When you entered, you were put on mute. So your microphone is muted. Look at it. If you want to speak, then if you want to speak, you have to click on the microphone sign to unmute to speak. But when you finish, please click it back. Otherwise, we will hear your background sounds. we will hear all the things that you are saying. I'm sure you do not want us to hear. And if you are using your laptop and you hover your cursor around the middle portion of your slide, of your screen, you will see these icons that appear on my screen. That is when you'll be able to click on the microphone. The same way, on the same line after participants, you see chat. And most of you have been talking to me in the chat box. So you click on chat and then you click to everyone, please. So the drop down arrow, select everyone so that we can all see and answer to the questions that you may have. Then the reactions. Oh, I love the reactions. On that same pane, you see this picture, a little picture of a smiley face. If you click on it, look at what it brings up. All these emojis. So if you're going to go away and you want us to know you are not on your seat, you look at the second row, you click on the cap. It tells me you are away. If someone says something and you want to laugh, look at the laughter. The smiley is laughing so hard that you can see they are even crying as they laugh. There's a celebration cone. You can clap for someone. If someone says something, you can give me the thumbs up. There are so many of them. Let's make good use of them in this session. And I'm going to go on, but before I go on, I've seen Francisca Ansah say, I'm Francisca Ansah, Regional Manager, GNCCI, Secondary Takrady, provide history, advisory services, and accountants. My expectation is to understand more about business ethics and integrity and how to practicalize it. One cannot have a successful business without these know-how, especially for women entrepreneurs, because our success in business goes a long way. I want to enjoy this workshop. Oh, we will make you enjoy too. Let us see. So if you are ready to go into the session with me, because I'm going to go into the real McCoy, if you are ready to go into this session with me, and thank you very much for your comments. If you are really ready to go into this with me, please give me the thumbs up. Let's see your thumbs up. Please give me the thumbs up. You can go into the chat box and give me the thumbs up. Oh, I see Cynthia has given me the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Then I see Francisca has given me the thumbs up. Thank you. Let's see more thumbs up. Are you ready to go into the session? If you are, please give me the thumbs up. Oh, show some love. Give me the thumbs up. Show some love. Now, Gifty, thank you so much. Oh, I see Abna in the chat box. Tiwa in the chat box as well. Oh, thank you, Georgette. Gifty, thank you, thank you, thank you. Since you are ready, now let's have our first poll for this session. My first poll is, on a scale of 1 to 5, rate your organization's ability to prevent and mitigate corruption and fraud risk in your operations. Do you have plans? Oh, iPhone, Mamita. So the poll is out there. Please, on a scale of 1 to 5, are you confident in your organization that you are able to mitigate corruption and fraud? If 1 says we are not able to at all, 5 means, oh, we are really on top of things. Could you kindly start working? Please. The poll, you see the poll on your slide. Oh, 1 person has answered my poll already. Now let's see the others. Oh, 2 so far. We are about 13. Let's see some more. Let's see some more. I want to know. Everybody wants to know. And please, it's anonymous, so nobody knows who is taking what. So let us see. Let us see.
Feel free to answer truly.
Yes. Baba, we don't see who has answered what. So
no, we can't see. We can just see the numbers going up.
I have only 6 people answer. Could I have some more, please? And I've turned off my video because of bandwidth issues. So I want everybody to benefit from this. If we want as many people as possible to benefit from this, let's turn off our videos because it's also raining here. So we have to make sure that everybody hears us. 9 so far. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Because I want to know. Everybody wants to know. Baba, do you want to know? Oh, I want to know.
I'm dying.
You're dying. But I have only 9. I want
only
the
9.
rest. Yes, tell me. Yes, the question is on the slide. It says on a scale of 1 to 5, rate your organization's ability to prevent and mitigate corruption and fraud in your operations. Your own operations, not anybody's operations, your own operations. Let's go. I'm giving ourselves about 30 seconds and then we will move on. The question is on your slide. On your screen, if you can't see it, shift the poll a bit. You will still see the. Baba, let's end it. It looks like 9 people are going to answer. So let's end it and share the results. So we can see that 22% are saying, oh, we are 2, 22, 3, 22, 4. And 33 are saying we are really on top of things. Oh, wow. So it means those who are on top of things are going to help us a lot. Baba, we are fortunate. They are going to help us a lot with this. So let's stop sharing. Fortunate. Yes, aren't we? Let's stop sharing. So with this in the bag, with this out of the way, let us do some more work. Now let's move on to my next slide, talking about benefits of the session. So, wow, if your organization is compliant, if you stay with that and you practice what you hear here in this session, your business saves money. Wow. So it says having an anti-corruption compliance program makes your company a more competitive in global value chains. Yeah, you save more money because there's no waste. And your business becomes attractive. Wow, I want my business to become attractive, I tell you. And your staff become confident and proud that, yeah, our company is attractive. We are getting people coming on board. I spoke about CIPE briefly, but now let's go back into CIPE again. It was founded in 1983 as a nonprofit part of the US Chamber of Commerce and the US National Endowment for Democracy. Ooh. Let's look at this. Its headquarters is in Washington, DC. It has over 200 active programs. Can you imagine? In 80 countries. And it is the work of CIPE to strengthen corporate governance and private sector anti-corruption initiatives, not only in Ghana, but globally. And CIPE is in different countries in Africa, in Angola, Zimbabwe, Nigeria. I could go on Mauritania. I could go on and on and on and on and on. And CIPE is an international thought leader on anti-corruption issues. In the private sector, CIPE has been successful in Asia, Europe, Middle East, and North Africa, and we are here now. So now let's look at our roadmap. What will we be doing? I will be taking part 1. I'll be looking at the business case for mitigating corruption. Then Baba will come in with fundamentals of ethics first. You wouldn't want to miss part 2. It's the real McCoy. I'm going to talk about the case, but Baba is going to delve deeper into the fundamentals of ethics first and how you can be listed onto ethics first and how we can help you make sure you are running that ethical business. That will make you bamba with the big boys and girls. Woo, are you ready for Part 1, the business case for mitigating corruption. If you are, please give me the thumbs up. Kindly encourage me. If you are ready for the business case for mitigating corruption and you want to bumper with the big boys. Oh, iPhone, I don't know your name, but you really want to bumper with the big boys and girls. You don't run tiki-tiki, taka-taka. Oh, Francisca is also ready. Stanley is. Oh, wow. And Cynthia is. Oh, Georgette is. Don't touch that dial then, please. I'm taking you on a beautiful journey. Don't touch it. Now let's look at this wonderful business, because I want us to start with concepts. Sometimes we hear ethics. Oh, Tiwa said yes, Mamita said yes as well. We will start with ethics, because sometimes you take it for granted that people know what you're talking about. It is the study of appropriate business policies and practices regarding potentially controversial subjects. So ethics in business is this, you see, that is what ethics is. And we are talking about business, and it regards controversies around corporate governance, insider trading, bribery, discrimination, corporate social responsibility, and fiduciary responsibilities. That's what we are talking about. Now that we have looked at ethics, I want us to also look at integrity. Most of the time, people talk about ethics, integrity. Integrity, so yeah, when we talk about integrity, it implies trustworthiness, incorruptibility. Wow, that one is incapable of being false to a trust, responsibility, or pledge. Your yea is your yea, and your nay is your nay. Wow. That is integrity. Now that leads me to my next poll. Let's look at this. Doing business with integrity and ethics should give businesses a competitive edge. Would you participate if there was a way to achieve that? Would you? My poll is out. And I'm going to read the question again, even though it's on my slide. It says, doing business with integrity and ethics should give businesses a competitive edge or a competitive advantage. Would you participate if there was a way to achieve that? 4 people have answered so far. I want to know, I want some more. I want more.
We want more.
We want more. Since you are here, we want to know. So I have Francisca say, please, are you going to share the slides with us? I'm looking at what has been in the chat box, and I'm saying yes to Francisca. Then again, in the chat box, I have iPhone. Yes, I've been saying iPhone, and iPhone says my name is Nana Sewa Asafwaji, and my company is NASA Royal Enterprise. Thank you very much, Nana Sewa. Now I'm not going to say iPhone. I have to remember it is Nana Sewa. This time I have 10 responses. I want more because now we are 20. So the question is, doing business with integrity and ethics should give businesses a competitive edge. Would you participate if there was a way to achieve that? Yes or no? And it's anonymous. So what you answer, no one can tell. And it's still on your screen. So kindly answer for me. Click on your answer. And a warm welcome to all those who joined after the introduction. Baba, let's close it now. Let's end the poll. And let's share the results. Oh, so all those who answered are saying 100% says yes, we will. Would you participate? We will participate. Awilo sharp. So if you will participate, why am I wasting time? Let's move on straight into the real McCoy. Baba, our participants want to participate, so we shouldn't let them waste. We shouldn't waste time, should we? So now that you say yes, let's move on to the fact of what? Legal duty, duty of care. Baba, did you say anything?
I was agreeing with you and saying we should not waste time.
I don't want to waste time. This time is a willow sharp. You see, I like explaining things so that we all go away on the same page. And duty of care refers to the corporate governance principle that directors and officers of a corporation, when making decisions in their capacity as corporate fiduciaries, must avoid foreseeable harm to the company. Wow. So you must avoid foreseeable harm to your company. That's why we are here. So what are some foreseeable damages and that corruption and fraud could cause your company? We are saying you have the duty of care. Now my question to you, and I need you to answer in the chat box, what are some foreseeable damages that corruption and fraud could cause your company? Kindly pop your answers into the chat box. We have about a minute to do this. I'm saying as directors of your organization, as the big bosses of your organization, you have duty of care. You have to ensure that there are no foreseeable damages to your organization. And I'm asking, what are some foreseeable damages that corruption and fraud could cause your company? Kindly pop your answers into the chat box for me. I want to know. Everybody wants to know. I want to know. Oh, I want to know. I really, really want to know. What are the damages that corruption and fraud could cause your company? If you engage in fraudulent activities, what could happen to your organization? Ah, pilfering, says Lena. Lena, you are spot on. Pilfering. Spot on. Abna says loss of business and license if you belong to a governing body. Look at me. Look at me dancing. And saying my people are so spot on. Collapse of business. Spot on, Francisca. Let me have one more and then I will move on. You know, like Oliver Twist, I'm asking for more. I ask for more and then I move on. Just one more. Okay, as the guys say, I just need one more. Who is going to give us that one more? Financial loss and loss of collapse of business, loss and collapse of business. You are also spot on. That's Nasewa. Hey, I got your name right, Nasewa. This time I didn't say iPhone. Yes, you are all so spot on. You know, a direct loss in the form of bribes and kickbacks paid that are legitimately monies owed by the company and should go to company's profit, research and development of even employee welfare. Can you imagine? You lose that. So maybe there's no money for research because we paid bribe, we paid kickback. So there's no money. Can you imagine? I want to move on because you've given me the answers, because I'm going to ask you some more. So I want to really move on. And this time, how are employees and shareholders harmed by corruption and fraud? I said it already. I said it initially. You put your business at risk. Bad reputation, says Lena. And then Comfort says you put your business at risk. You are so spot on. You are all so spot on. Now I've gone to the chat box and I'm reading. You know, how are your employees and shareholders harmed by corruption? So when that money that is supposed to be used for employee capacity building is given as kickbacks, can you imagine? I said it already, no research. Then employees' welfare, nothing for employees' welfare. And then you have fines, and maybe sometimes if you are not even careful, your employees may be put behind bars or imprisonment. And then your employees, they also become corrupt. You show them in P, we say that nampra, a profinity. So when fish goes bad, we all know it starts from its head. So then it starts coming down and you infect your employees with something that shouldn't be. And then, you know, some public officials may even victimize your staff without regard, because they are loose. So anybody at all can say anything to you. And I'm looking at the chat box. Comfort is saying you put your business at risk. And reputational damage for yourself and for your staff. Can you imagine your employees, your shareholders, even your shareholders, everybody, people treat you anyhow. I have a question. How are customers and the business community harmed by corruption and fraud? This one, I want you to put the answer into the chat box. Kindly pop the answer into the chat box. How are customers and the business community harmed by your corruption? You are the corrupt one. How are your customers in the business community harmed? I want you to pop your answers into the chat box. Abna says loss of trust. But thank you very much, Abna. I also want to know, how are your customers harmed? In what way does it affect the customers and the community at large? Kindly pop your answers into the chat box. Let's do this for about a minute, and then we move on. I want to know, everybody wants to know. Francisca says sustainability issues. Thank you, Francisca, spot on. Your customers and business community, how do we harm them? Now let's hear some more and then I will move on. Just one more and then I will move on. Okay, I will still be keeping an eye on the chat box whilst I start talking about, you know, when there's corruption, the distortion of the market and business. There's distortion of stability in local government environments. You know, there's higher cost. All the higher cost is because you are transferring costs. The money that you pay for bribes, you transfer that to your customers, and it is not fair. It is not fair at all. And so there's distortion in the whole environment. If everyone is doing it, can you imagine how this is going to affect all of us in the system? And now that the world has become more interconnected and local firms are becoming more exposed to international investors, the attractive investment partners are those that prove that they have a sound anti-corruption and compliance program. Because if you don't, then it means that you are affecting your customers negatively. Then once it affects customers, the whole thing it becomes a vicious cycle. So people, the global one, the big boys and girls, they are looking for people who understand that we don't want corruption. We don't want to bribe anyone. Now, shall we then move on to my next question? Do you think a free-to-use resource for improving your organization's management and integrity systems is a much-needed resource? Do you think so? If so, please write yes into the chat box or give me a thumbs up. My question is on the slide. Ah, while I'm waiting for you to put these answers, Abena said customers will get frustrated. So I'm going to the chat box now. While waiting for your yes or no, I'm going to the chat box. Abena says customers will get frustrated, loss of faith in the business, increased inequality. Spot on, Abena. Vanessa says no recommendations from clients. That's true. And Francisca says, yes, I think a free-to-use resource for improving my organization's management and integrity systems is a much-needed resource. Is it only Francisca who thinks so? Do you think, look at the question on the slide, do you think a free-to-use resource for improving your organization's management and integrity is a much-needed resource? Lena says yes as well. Oh, Veronica says yes. Let your yeses flow. Let your yeses flow. If you believe that free to use, it's free. Oh, nobody's charging you. That free to use resource. Nasewa says yes. Comfort says yes. Oh, wow. The yeses are now coming in thick and fast. I want to know. Everybody wants to know. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts. Let's hear from you. Abna says yes. Comfort says yes. Thank you all very much for your contributions. Now look at this. Can you imagine? What do you think these ones have in common? What do you think these companies have in common? If you know the answer, please pop it into the chat box. What do you think they have in common? You know what? They all, let me take you out of your misery. They all have gotten into trouble because of their third parties. It has to do with violations from their third parties. It wasn't them, it was their third parties. Now let's look at this. It's from their third parties. They had exponential losses to all of them. And their shareholders paid large fines. What? Because of corruption from their third party. So you know why the big boys don't want to bamba with anybody who is not interested in anti-corruption. So they experienced diminished personal and corporate reputation. They had to cut jobs, loss of expansion opportunities, loss of investor confidence. Wow. This corruption occurred in their third-party organizations, in the operations of the third-party organizations in Africa. Wow, wow. So let's look at who could be third-party organizations, subsidiaries, joint venture and consortia, contractors and suppliers. Wow, agents and intermediaries. So international companies and investors will not consider a partnership with a local company unless there is proven adequate anti-corruption compliance. Because of what happened here, because of what happened to Vodafone, Halliburton and others, now they have learned the lesson the hard way. So if you are one of these, they will not work with you if they feel that you are not compliant. Because it is said that someone who has been bitten by a snake is even afraid of the worm. That's a proverb we have in our local parlance. So my question to you this morning is that, does risk stand taller than your company? Look at risk on my slide. Look at how tall risk is. It's taller than that company. Is risk taller than your company? If you are not interested, if your risk is taller than your company, then all that investors see is risk. If you are in their value chain, if you want to be in the international value chain, or if you are in the value chain of an international organization, then your company should stand taller than risk. Otherwise, all that they will see is risk, risk, risk. Stand taller than that risk. How do you stand taller than risk? I'm sure when I was saying stand taller and you saw risk and risk was taller than the company, how do we do it? Look at my slide carefully. You see like a cloud here, and you see ethical and compliance risks at the top in the cloud. You will see it written in the cloud. You should have an umbrella that protects you from, look at what will be hitting your company. It's beneath the cloud. Request for gifts and bribes. Hey, request to overpay commissions, expenses. No, sometimes people, when you are not, as I say, correct in quotes, and your staff go out to buy things, people ask them, do you want me to quote the right price or do you want me to add on? Protect your company against that. Protect it against money laundering, offshore payments, dishonest, incompetent staff, dishonest partners and agents. If, as we say in Ghana, Charlie, if you wear this sort of umbrella, you protect yourself against even staff who are not competent. You protect yourself against staff who are dishonest. Even dishonest partners and agents, dishonest public officials. What do we have? What do we call that umbrella? What do we have in that umbrella? If you have a compliance system, ethical culture, anti-corruption policy, wow, they will protect your corporate assets. So all the things coming, if you wear that umbrella or you hold that umbrella of compliance, ethical culture, anti-corruption policy, then you are protecting the people in your organization, your property, and your reputation. Wow, I love this umbrella. So when you have this umbrella, look at what happens. You take control. This morning, I'm going to go away, but I'm asking you, are you going to take control or lose control? Do you want to take control or do you want to lose control? That's my question to you this morning. Please pop your answer into the chat box. If you want to take control, just pop C into the chat box for me. If you don't want to take just write yes, then I know you want to take control. If you write yes, I know you want to take control. If you want to take control, write yes. Abna wants to take control. Her yes is already there. She just gave me another one. So let's see, do you want to take control or do you want to lose control? Kindly pop your, Tiwa says yes. She wants to take control. Veronica says yes, she wants to take control. Yes, we have to take control. How do we take control? I've told you. And why should we take control? Comfort says yes. And Royal Debbie says yes too. You take control. When you take control, you reduce cost of doing business. If you don't take control, there's higher cost of doing business because you are paying bribes. If you take control, you reduce cost of doing business. I'm emphasizing that you reduce higher cost of doing business. Then if you take control, look at what happens. Increased ethical brand reputation. People know you. Mami say, well, yes. Royal Debbie, yes. They say, there's increased ethical brand and reputation. If you lose control, diminished reputation, then you see you are all in the news. Then people are talking about you. You don't even know how to go out. I've been hearing that on the radio and TV recently of people who did not take control, and because of ethical issues and anti-corruption issues, they are in the air. And I'm sure you know, we all have been hearing. If you take control, it promotes a compliant company culture. Then everybody knows that in this company, we don't do that. In this company, we don't falsify reports. We don't falsify our accounts. We are an ethical business. We run our business in an ethical way. If you lose control, it translates to a company culture that endorses internal fraud. Your staff are cheating you. They are stealing from you. Then you don't understand it. It is because you don't have those policies and procedures that we spoke about. You don't have them. If you take control, you retain valuable staff and their ideas because they know that this is a genuine organization. So you retain them. If you have control, you retain them. If you don't, what happens? You lose them. If you take control, there's improved service quality. You're at peace. So you can go ahead and do what you plan in the first place to do as an organization. If you lose control, loss of innovation, there's no improvement because you lose staff, valued staff, because they go away. They are tired of IRS harassing you. They are tired of investigations. So they go away. Kindly give me a second. If you take control, there's improved service quality. Oh, there is improved. The loss of innovation and improvement due to loss of valued staff. I don't want that though. I don't know about you. Now look at this picture. Look at this lady. Look at how she's smiling. It is because she's in control. Because she's in control, she has a peace of mind. She can even think of corporate social responsibility. If you are paying bribes, if you are laundering money, if you are doing all those things, will you have time for social, corporate social responsibility? She has the peace of mind. Unlike if you don't take control, look at what will happen. There's a risk of bankruptcy, as you all said at the beginning, loss of significant revenue and revenue sources. I want to leave you with this picture as I go away. I want you to smile all the way to the bank. I want you to smile all the way into a partnership with the global organizations. I want you to bamba with the big boys and girls. Because I want you to bamba with the big boys and girls, I'm going to hand you over to Baba to take charge as she talks about part 2, fundamentals of ethics first, which is the real meat, the real reason. I built a case, but she's going to talk about the tool that we have to share with you this morning. Thank you very much for your time. I'm handing you over to Baba.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Mrs. J, for what was a great beginning of first hour of the session. I see that Francisca and Seth hand is on. Francisca, you can go ahead and ask your question if you would like to at this point.
Yes, thank you very much. I was expecting the first speaker, Margaret.
Yes, Margaret.
To comment on the first question that she asked us on your ability to, I think, stop corruption in your business on the basis of 1 to 5. The results showed some about 1, some chose 1, some chose 2, some chose 3, some chose 4, some. So I wished she could comment on the implication on the choices. That is 1. And then also if there is room for improvement for the choices, or with the numbers, if you could throw more light on them. Maybe if it is 1, then it means that you have more work to do. If you chose 2, then you need to do this, right? So that, because that is, I believe it was a practical response from the participants. So if she could throw more light on the needed work to be done on your choice of your ability to stop corruption in your business, or the extent to stop corruption in your business.
Thank you very much, Francisca. You would notice that I said, oh, most of them are at 5, so it means they will help us answer the questions in this session. Ours is an educative one, so we will take the same poll by the end to know if the information that we have given to you will help you. We just wanted to know who was in the room and if what we are bringing is really necessary for your organizations. And because most of you were not at 5, it meant that, oh, this session is for you. So if you stay in it and listen to what Baba is going to talk about ethics first, I'm sure it's going to help you. If I didn't come across strongly on that, I'm very sorry. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
Well,
thank you. I'm happy I've been able to answer your question. Thank you very much for asking.
You're welcome. Thank you madam. So much. Thank you both so much. And so at this point, we would like to move on. Margaret has been laying the foundation for us. And so we would like to introduce you. You know, she asked about what would you do would you be interested in using a tool, if there was a free to use tool that could help you manage your corruption risks, manage your corporate governance and compliance? Would you be interested in that? And so that is the part that we've come here to introduce you to ethics first. And so we are going to go so deep into it that I don't even want to comment a lot, because ethics first is all about business. How can we make business integrity a competitive advantage? I'm all about my bottom line. I'm all about making money. And so I'm all about that for the SMEs that we help build the capacity of. And so how can ethics, we all know ethics is good, but it seems like the world has become so that we think that ethics doesn't pay and doing the right thing doesn't pay. And so in this session and in these sessions, we're going to be talking about business ethics as a competitive advantage. And now I'd just like to know, I know we've been saying ethics first, but please share with me in the chat box. Do you know, had you heard about ethics first initiative before this? Yes or no? And if you had heard about it, what had you heard about it? Just please share with me in the chat box. Hey, it's a mouthful for me. Chat box. Yes, I see some answers coming in. Yes, Veronica says no. No, and no from Florence again. Yes. So I think that majority of us probably, this is the first time we will have been hearing, yes, Cynthia is also saying no about ethics first, but that is to be expected. And we are going to go deeper into what ethics first is. Ethics first is 3 things, and I like to say it all the time. 3 things. If you don't go away with anything from my session, thank you so much. I'm going back to the chats and I see a number of notes have come in. And so we will go back into talking about what ethics first is. It's 3 things: a database, a resource, and a mechanism. That's what I want you to keep in your head. Ethics first is 3 things: DRM. It's a database, it's a resource, and it's a mechanism. And it's a database. Why do we say it's a database? It's because it's a database of sustainable, low-risk SMEs and suppliers in Africa. So that's what it is. It's a database, it's a repository. And once you go through the process, and we'll talk about the process, you will be listed on that database. And anybody, any third party, any international organization can have access to that database to see the companies within your country. And in this sense, it's Ghana. Within Ghana, that are being compliant to all the international anti-corruption laws and rules. So we are talking about the foreign countries, the FCPA and the UK anti-bribery and corruption laws. We will, by listing on ethics first, and we'll get there, you will see that you are compliant with all these international standard anti-corruption laws. So for example, a country like Ghana doesn't have many anti-corruption laws, but ethics first will ensure that even if Ghana doesn't have those laws internationally, you are compliant with international standards. And the objective of ethics first as a database is because if your business is listed on the database, whoever is looking at your business, any external party, has the reassurance that your company has embedded corruption risk mitigation into its best practices. Once you're on that list, there's that reassurance. It's also a resource. And once you're on ethics first, you get access to so many free resources that give you solutions and capacity development for your organization. It's where anti-bribery, corruption, and compliance are concerned. There are so many resources that get available to you. And why do we say that Ethics First is a resource? The objective is that so that you can access the free tools. We are not trying to make compliance. We understand how the local environment is already. And we are not trying to make being compliant and doing the right thing hard for you. We are trying to make it easier. And so that's why it's a free resource. And lastly, it's a mechanism. Ethics First, CIPE and the CIPE partners sat down and thought, how can we incentivize business integrity and accountability for small and medium enterprises in Africa? And Ethics First came up as one of the solutions, as an incentive for business integrity. And our objective for making Ethics First an incentive for business integrity is that it gives you a competitive advantage. And we will be talking about that so much in the coming slides, in the coming minutes, that you actually lose money by not being ethical. You lose your reputation. We'll go into it. We'll go into it. If you are ready for us to go into it, please give me a thumbs up if you are ready for us to go into it. Just give me a thumbs up if you are ready for us to go into more details about Ethics First. After hearing about why it's a resource, a database, please give me a thumbs up if you are ready to go more into Ethics First. Thank you so much. I see the thumbs up coming in fast and hard. Veronica, thank you. Thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you so much. They're coming so fast that I can't even read who is coming up with them. Thank you so much for your thumbs up. Now let's look at why Ethics First. And Margaret shared with you the cost of corruption. And so now let's think about it. Why is Ethics First even coming? Because we're looking back and with the cost of corruption in the backs of our minds, let's ask ourselves, why would we be interested in Ethics First? Now let's look at these numbers. And the first day I saw these numbers, I was dumbfounded. It's staggering. The International Finance Corporation estimates that $330 billion, not cedis, cold hard dollars. There's a $330 billion annual financing gap for small businesses in Africa. That's what the IFC estimates. The World Bank also estimates that 10% is added to the cost of doing business in Africa due to corruption. These are all due to corruption. And we are not even talking about corruption in large businesses. And we are not talking about corruption in the government or public sector. We are talking about corruption in the private sector as it pertains to us and our businesses. 1 in 3 Africans paid a bribe last year. That's what Afrobarometer is saying. That 1 in 3 Africans paid a bribe last year. And the African Union also says that $148 billion is lost to corruption annually in Africa. I'm just going to leave these numbers there for a second, just to give you a second to sit with it. And now I have a question coming up for you, and I'd like you to share with me in the chat box. How did it make you feel when you saw all these staggering facts and figures of cold hard cash that could be coming to us as entrepreneurs that has been lost to corruption? How did that make you feel? Please share with me in the chat box. Share with me in the chat, please. Shocked. Yes, thank you so much, Doreen. Abner Bing says disheartened. Disheartened. Just waiting for a few more reactions and then we can move on. Yes, shocked, disheartened. I was dumbfounded. I am rarely at a loss for words. And when I saw this, yes, shame, Veronica, thank you so much. I'm really surprised, comfort, thank you so much. I'm really at a loss of words, to be honest. I talk so much. But the day I saw these numbers, I was at a loss for words. I was really at a loss for words. But there's hope. There's a lot of hope. I see disheartened and ashamed, but there's hope. Don't lose hope. there's a lot of hope because there's an opportunity for us. We've seen how we are losing all this money, but there's so much opportunity for us. And the World Bank estimates that there will be a 300% increase in public service delivery if corruption is reduced. Wow. A 300%, not 50, not 100, not 150, but actually 300% increase in the delivery of public services if corruption is reduced. Now think about that as a small business. Public services, GRA, registering your business, that means that there'll be a 300% increase in the delivery of registering your business, 300% increase in the delivery of paying your taxes, 300% everywhere. If you have to take accreditation from the FDA, there'll be a 300% increase in the service delivery. Can you imagine the gains that your business will make just by this? And then there's even more. With the African Continental Free Trade Act, there's $3 trillion growth potential in Africa. So there's an opportunity for us. And this is where making sure that you have a competitive advantage due to business integrity comes in. And as you will see, the steps are very easy to follow to get to the point where you are positioned perfectly for these opportunities that are going to arise. That have, not even that are going to arise, that are already there. I'd like to know if you have an idea. Please share. How long do you think it takes a company to start from a startup, that I mean from registration to being ready for investments? You know, a bank is coming to invest in you, or an external investor, a venture capital firm. How long do you think it takes? How long do you think it takes for a company? Please share with me in the chat box. Feel free to unmute also to share with your voice. That would be better for you. Take a wild guess, looking at how all these processes take in Ghana. How long do you think it will take to register a company from the day you register to the day that an investor can say that this company has reached a place that I can invest in? Okay, well, the truth is that it takes 6 to 18 months at the very least, at the very, very least. And that's a long time when money and time are involved. And I'm sure you can all attest to that as SME. And so now we ask ourselves, why ethics first? Why is ethics first important? Because it decreases your cost. It decreases your cost. We talked about the cost of paying for bribe. It decreases that because you don't pay for bribes anymore. You don't pay bribes anymore. Those inefficiencies are decreased. We talked about the fact that 10% is lost internally in companies due to internal corruption. So all those costs are going to be decreased. Another important thing is that it creates access to untapped markets within an ethical ecosystem. So imagine you are on the Ethics First database, and when you go there, you see so many other Ghanaian companies that are also on the database who have this Ethics First mark of approval. That's free access to low-risk suppliers and potential partners in your value chain. It also gives you access to commercial opportunities and information within that same ecosystem. And imagine the economies of scale that you can achieve when you're working with like-minded partners. So it's not even just about the people who come and buy your things. And Ethics First is a repository, so you have eyes on you that prior to were not there. Because Center for International Private Enterprise, CIPE, is actually a sister organization of the American Chamber of Commerce. And so once Ethics First is there, when members of the American Chamber of Commerce want to do business with Ghanaian businesses, they go to Ethics First to go and look at which companies have been cleared as being ethical in the country already. So we do that. Ethics First, CIPE, and Rainbow Consults, we do that legwork for them. And all that you have to do is to sit back and enjoy the benefits of being introduced to such partners, potential partners for business. It also It increases your trust, the trust in your business. It promotes fair competition, and it promotes accountability. You will learn how to avoid the pitfalls in highly risky environments, and you will belong to an honor-based network of like-minded individuals. Imagine being able to say that I am part of this group of business owners in Ghana who are committed to business integrity and making our nation better. It also reduces the trade barriers for your business in the industry or the sector that you are in. You can attract foreign direct investments, finance, forex, and it will drive innovation in your export capacity. And we've talked about how Ethics First is a repository for companies that are looking to partner with third parties in Africa. So there might be an American company that's looking to partner with a company that provides the goods or services that you do. When they go on Ethics First, they get in contact with you, and they can go to bed every night with a free mind because they know that you are not doing things here in Ghana, paying bribes, doing some shady dealings that will get them into trouble. Remember the slide Mrs. J showed about all those companies when she asked, what do they have in common? It was that they had all had to pay some fines or get some punishments, not because of their own practices, but because of their third parties and vendors in other countries like Ghana. Also, you can say that your business adheres to international best practices and standards. So this is why we believe in Ethics First, and we are introducing you to Ethics First. So now let's go to the thick of it, the Ethics First initiative itself. It was developed with the aim of de-risking investment in African economies. So that's why CIPE developed it. We want to make other parties and other investors from other countries find that investing in Ghanaian companies is not as risky because these Ghanaian companies have already gone through the compliance and ethics systems that Ethics First has. In simple terms, Ethics First is building trust in African business environment. We are saying we are, along with the American Chamber of Commerce and with the Center for International Private Enterprise, we are building a group of entrepreneurs and businesses in Africa that value ethics and compliance. This will increase efficiency and in turn increase attractiveness to investors. Using internationally recognized standards adapted for business operations, Ethics First helps you to evaluate your company's compliance program, and then you can make improvements when necessary. And so we'll come in, there's a tool we will use to evaluate your program. And that's why at the beginning we asked, what do you think, how do you think you are in your company where it comes to your corruption rate? So you know where you think you are, but when Rainbow Consult comes in, we will evaluate you, and then we will help you to boost your compliance and make improvements where necessary. We are going to go on straight into the benefits of Ethics First and global recognition. I mean, Ethics First is a global brand. You are now affiliated with the American Chamber of Commerce. I mean, it gains you global recognition as part of Africa's trusted business ecosystem. It also increases your visibility and brand recognition because listing on Ethics First automatically shows your investors will automatically recognize you as a low-risk counterpart. Investors, business partners. You will also, as you progress through the platform, and I will be sharing with you how you can progress through the platform, your company will build the capacity to be able to demonstrate internationally recognized best practices where compliance is concerned. And really, it's an exclusive club. And Ethics First grants you a front row seat there. The American Chamber of Commerce will have direct access to you when they are looking for companies to partner with. It's an exclusive club. And of course, there's a significant reduction in reputational, legal, and criminal liabilities. I don't even think I have to explain that. So now I'd like to ask you, after all that we've said, what do you remember What do you think Ethics First does for you? What stuck with you? I've said a lot of good things about Ethics First. What stuck with you? Please share with me in the chat box. Please share with me in the chat box. I need to know. If someone asks you that you went to this webinar, you went to this online course on Ethics First, what does Ethics First do for you? Please share in the chat. I want to know, I want to know, I want to know. Global recognition. Thank you so much, Francisca. Please share in the chat. Business confidence. Wow, you are really on fire, Francisca. Thank you so much. Ethics First is a gateway for my business to adhere to international best standard practices. Abna, thank you so much. You ladies are really, really, really on fire. Thank you so much. Yes, so these are the kind of things that Ethics First does for you. Now we will move straight to, now that we know what Ethics First does to us, let us look at what ethics, the kind of values that Ethics First listed companies must recognize as a foundation for the compliance programs. So now we've talked to you about what it is and the benefits. Now we want you to know what will be asked of you if you decide to sign up to Ethics First. And our values are loyalty. And it's very important to us, being faithful to commitments or obligations. Loyalty is a firm adherence to a person or a thing, or the oath or promise by which a lie was contracted, resisting any temptation to abandon or turn against it. Is loyalty, a firm adherence to the truth, a firm adherence to saying that, no, this is a lie. Loyalty is very important to us, as well as honesty. Honesty, uprightness of character and action. You have to be truthful, trustworthy, refrain from lying, and refrain from misinterpretation, cheating, or stealing. A half-truth is a lie. An exaggeration is also a lie. And so we have to remember these things. Honesty. Leadership. Leadership. Leaders are expected to set an example for those around them. So if the leadership doesn't have high ideals, where are we going? Integrity. Adherence to the code of moral values that include trustworthiness, incorruptibility, and equity. For an ethics first company, it's important that the organization or the individual is worthy of trust, responsibility, and commitment. And then we have accountability. You can't have all of these things without being ready to give an explanation or justification for your judgment, intentions, actions. You have to be able to acknowledge the impact that your actions or inactions have on other people. And for an ethics first company, that's so important, because how can you have loyalty without honesty? How can you have leadership without honesty or integrity or accountability? They are also intertwined. And the last one just ties it together for me: respect. If you respect yourself, your business environment, your employees, your clients, your partners, and your vendors, you will be ethical when dealing with them. Oh, thank you so much. Veronica says, going back to what Ethics First says for you, so sorry. Veronica says, access to investors. And Comfort says, you can evaluate your company's compliance. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So these, leadership, integrity, accountability, respect, loyalty, honesty, these are the values of an ethics first company. And so now you need to ask yourself if these values are apparent in your business and your business dealings. And that brings me to, can you please share with me, we just shared, which of the ethics first values do you remember? Please share with me in the chat. I want to know. Loyalty. Thank you so much, Mbozuri. I hope I got that pronunciation right. Please forgive me if I got it wrong. Loyalty is a key one. Wow, wow, wow. Abena says loyalty, accountability, integrity, leadership, respect. Wow. Abena, that's amazing. Comfort Sasu says trust. Lina says integrity. Tiwa says honesty. Francisca says accountability. Veronica says respect. Lina also says respect. Thank you so much, ladies. You have really made my day. You really do remember what the ethics first values are. And so now we can move on. We know our values. And so now I can go to the meat of it. How can you get listed? Are you ready to know how a company can get listed on ethics first? If you are, please give me a yes in the chat box. Give me a thumbs up in the emojis, whichever you prefer. Please give me yeses. And back to the values. Well, we are still on the values. Vanessa says respect and accountability. And are you ready to know how a company can get listed? The yeses are coming in. Comfort says yes. Veronica says yes. Doreen also says yes. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much for sharing the yeses. Thank you so much for sharing the yeses. Nana Sewa also said yes. Thank you so much. Vanessa says yes. Tiwa says yes. So we will move straight on to how can you get listed? And it's 3 easy steps. You register. You need at least one authorized company representative, and I'll tell you more about the authorized company representative shortly, but you register, you sign an integrity pledge. We have an integrity pledge that you will sign, and then you start your enhancements. And the enhancement is basically, what we call the enhancement is the process of classifying your risk, looking at your company and seeing the areas where you may need some growth or enhancement. So it starts with classifying your risk and then looking at your growth or enhancement areas, which is why we like to call the third process enhancement. So register. You just need an ACR to register. And who is an ACR? An ACR is an authorized company representative. And it's a person who the company authorizes, either the business owner or the board of directors, authorize that person to review all the information uploaded about the company. The ACR will be authorized to sign the integrity pledge that we spoke about in step 2 and make sure that all the company information is complete. One may ask, why is it important to have an authorized company representative? It's because you'll be giving us a lot of information. And that information that you give us is voluntary. And it will be uploaded and shared with third parties with the permission of your company. So the ACR must ensure that it is accurate, complete, and does not violate any internal standards. So the person, the ACR, will be the one in charge of making sure that you don't give us any confidential information that you may not want to. And CIPE and the implementers, we adhere to the stricter privacy standards of confidentiality. And so only generic and publicly available information will be shared. And even that, we will not share any information without consent from the company. And all other information that is shared will be only shared when your company has given us express permission. And that permission, that's why the ACR is important. That permission is granted by the ACR. Then you sign the integrity pledge. And the integrity pledge basically says that we are recognizing the importance of the company's leadership's commitment to ethics, integrity, transparency, and accountability. And we know that there will be immeasurable benefits to the stakeholders. And then the company too will get sustainable growth and development. So the ACR or the CEO or managing director will sign this pledge that says that the chief executive officer or managing director will implement policies, processes, and systems guided by ethics to prevent, detect, and respond to all forms of unethical and corrupt practices committed by any of its employees, agents, subsidiaries, or the like. And there's more, but this is the gist of it. and it needs to be signed by the ACR, having the complete lesson of management of the company. Now we classify your risk, and that's the third step. So we have registered, we have signed the integrity pledge. Now we will be classifying your risk. And we normally have 3 risk bands. We have risk group A, risk group B, and risk group C. And we classify your risk based on certain classifications and guidelines. So how we will know whether you're in risk group A, B, or C depends on the number of employees you have. Do you have short-term contractors? What is your annual turnover in dollars? The bigger your annual turnover, the bigger your risk is. What's the number of ICT supporting staff that you have? The more ICT supporting staff you have, the bigger your risk. Do you use any supporting software? Where do you source it from? These are all things that change your risk. The number of locations or operations that you have. Are you in one location? If you're in one location, you have a lower risk than a company that can be found in 50 locations. Do you have operations in the US or UK? If you have operations only in Ghana and not in the US or the UK, it's a different sort of risk. If you have operations in Ghana and other African countries, depending on where the African country is and what the temperature of the country is presently, you'll be under different risk. How many regulatory agencies do you also have oversight over your business? The more, by regulatory organizations, I mean, excluding the company registrar and tax authorities. How many regulatory agencies still have oversight? So does FDA have oversight over you? Does the Commissioner of Schools have oversight? How many regulatory bodies have oversight on you? The more regulatory bodies have oversight on you, the more your risk, the higher your risk will be. And so these are how we classify you into the risk bands. And I said that once we classify you, then we shall now look at the areas that can be enhanced. And these are the areas that we look at when we are looking at your compliance system and trying to determine what will be enhanced. Before we look at the areas, let's look at the goal. The long-term goal of ethics first is to build a culture of integrity in your organization that ensures sustainable growth. That's all we want to do. We want to build a culture of integrity that ensures sustainable growth. And so we apply ethics first to companies of every size and in any sector at all, so that we can prevent, respond, and detect to corruption. We want to prevent, we want to respond, and we want to detect. So our first goal is to prevent completely. But if we are unable to prevent completely, we want to respond to instances of corruption swiftly, very, very, very swiftly, and very, 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 very harshly, so that they do not reoccur. And in case we are unable to respond, we want to detect it so that we can put measures in place so that those things don't happen again. And so our goals, we need to prevent, respond, and detect so we can build companies that are sustainable in the long run. So I'd like to ask you now, please share with me in the chat. I want to know, what are the goals of ethics first? What are the goals of ethics first? Please share with me in the chat box. We talked about our goals. Respond, Veronica, thank you so much. Prevent, wow, wow, wow. There's one more that needs to come. Thank you, Comfort, for that. I talked about 3. Respond, prevent. What's the last one? Will you share with me and make my afternoon? Detect, Lena, thank you so much. You are spot on. So we are here to detect, prevent, and respond. Thank you so much for sharing. And now let us look at the enhancement areas. When we come into your firm, after you've signed the integrity pledge, after you've signed up and you've signed the integrity pledge, we move on to enhancement. And what are these areas that we look at when we are looking at the places that you may need help with? What do we look at when we come into your organization? And this is a good time for you to compare what the processes and policies and procedures you have in place to what we will be looking at. You can even start marking yourself if you have these things. Do you have company and business registration? Are you tax compliant? We'll be looking at these things. Are you compliant to your industry? Because some industries have specific rules. Are you compliant to international anti-money laundering rules and laws? What do your internal controls look like in your organization? What does leadership and implementation look like in your organization? What are your policies and procedures like in your organization? Do you have gift policies? Do you have leave policies? Do you have a whistleblowers policy in your organization? What do your policies and procedures look like? Do you have a procedure for policies and procedures for addressing grievances? These are all things we will look at. We will look at your operations and personnel support. What does that look like? We'll also look at how do you even report corruption in your organization? Do you have internal corruption reporting systems? Do you have a whistleblowers policy? Do you even have an anonymous box in your office for reporting things that go on? These are the sorts of things that we will look at. What are your specific bribery risks of your specific organization? How do we monitor and improve your anti-bribery and corruption and compliance in your organization? What does procurement and third-party oversight look like? Do you have a procurement policy? Do you have a policy for third parties? How do you check out the credibility of the vendors you work with? These are all questions that we will be asking. These are all the sorts of questions that are asked. And then we ask, what does collective action look like in the organization? These are all the sorts of questions that we ask when we come into your organization to try and get you a compliance program. So now, as we have looked at the things we look at when we are trying to get you listed on Ethics First, let us look at the process. Ethics First listing takes 12 to 24 months if you want to get to gold. And we will talk about the different kinds of listings. We have green, silver, and gold. And to get to gold, finally, takes about 12 to 24 months. But you can get to green very quickly within 3 months. I will show you. It's a process, and we shall talk about that. So let's talk about green listing. Companies listed as green in Ethics First have demonstrated a commitment to business integrity, and they have signed the business integrity pledge that we talked about. And they have begun the process of evaluating their business integrity profile benchmarked by global best practices. And in this case, the global best practice is Ethics First. So let's look at the requirements for green listing. You have to register. Then you have to identify the users. And by this, I mean who will be the administrator in the system. And we spoke about the authorized company representative. So you register and you identify who your authorized company representative will be. Then you sign the integrity pledge. When you sign the integrity pledge, you complete a self-evaluation questionnaire. Then we have a basic compliance lab that you have to attend. And at that lab, we will look at, the enhancement areas that we talked about. We will look at those areas and see where you need improvements and how those improvements can be done, as well as some training on how to use the new systems that have been given. So that is green listing. Takes 12 to 24 months, but for the green, you can get it on 3 months, in 3 months, depending on how quickly you want to move. Because at this stage, a lot of the information is just your company paperwork and things that you should already have as a company. Then we move on to silver. And the companies that are listed as silver have demonstrated a deep commitment to business integrity. And they have moved beyond, they have begun to enhance of the green, and they have already started enhancing their business integrity profile. So in silver, you have already started making steps. Yes, I see a hand raised, Doreen. Please, you can either share in the chat box or unmute for your question.
Baba, it was a mistake, please.
Oh, so sorry. Okay, so please. Yes, please. And so companies that have listed silver, I said, have already started enhancing, and by enhancing, you know what we are speaking about now. So what are the requirements for a silver listing? You have to pass all the green. The green is now a checkpoint for you. So you complete all your green checkpoints. You remedy the gaps found after the self-evaluation. And so you see the difference there is that in the green, you don't have to start remedying any gap. You just have to attend the lab. But for silver, you have to remedy the gaps that have been found. And then your directors and business owners will attend an ethical leadership workshop. So that's green, that's silver, sorry. And then we move on to gold. And gold is, it's the gold standard, we love it. Companies listed as gold, they offer investors and partners assurance because their integrity and compliance standards, not only have they started the enhancement, but it will be verified independently by a third party. And so if, for example, it is Rainbow that is assisting you in your listing on ethics phase, when you get to the gold listing, Rainbow cannot, the way ethics first has been set up, we will have to put you in contact with another CIPE partner to independently, because they've not gone through the process with you, verify that everything that now us and you are saying that you actually have. So ethics first is so interested in ethics that we've even put internal measures in place to ensure that our consultants are not in any way compromised throughout this process. And so at Gold, there's difference is that there's independent verification of everything that you are talking about. And this is it. You pass the silver checkpoint, then you request an independent review. And after the report is sent to the Ethics First Advisory Committee, they will approve your gold status. So in fact, the jump from silver to gold is not such a big one. Once you finish silver, you can apply for an independent review and then move on to your gold listing on Ethics First. Again, this process can take 12 to 24 months, but I'd like to reiterate that it depends on you, especially when you're going for the green listing, which is the start of the whole process. At this point, I think we would like to take what I think is our last but one poll of the day. And my poll is actually just trying to find out from you, how long does it take a company to get listed on Ethics First? Please share with us. Oh, I want to know, please share. How long does it take? Mrs. J, can you see? I have just, no one has answered my poll.
Oh, I see it here, but I don't see it on my second screen. So I'm wondering what happened to it. I see it on one screen, but on my participant screen, I don't see. So people are answering in the chat box. So please check the chat box. Yes.
I think I had a bit of a malfunction.
Yes. So,
I
so
apologize.
since the answers are in the chat box, why don't we just pick from the
Yes,
chat?
I have 12 to 24 months, 12 to 24 months, 12 to 24 months. Yes, you are all spot on. You are so right. It takes 12 to 24 months to list on Ethics Fair. But there's a trick. It's a trick in my question. It can take 3 months or more, but the speed of pace depends on the company. So I was hoping that someone would pick up on the fact that I kept on saying that the speed really depends on you. It can take 12 to 24 months, but to be honest, the speed really does depend on your company. Okay. Now we've talked about independent verification a bit, and I'd like to talk about it a bit more, just to give you a deeper idea of what we mean. Listing gold gives the company's partners, bankers, investors, and public the assurance of two things. And these are the two things. This independent verification, which is basically the gold listing. It gives us the confidence in two things, assurance in two things. That your compliance measures are adequate on paper. And that's so important. Your third parties, investors, they want to know, bankers, they want to know that your compliance measures are adequate. And independent verification assures them of that. Also, it affirms that the compliance measures are being implemented. So it's two things, they are there on paper, but beyond the paper, they are also being implemented. And Ethics First ensures that and gives your independent parties the assurance of that. And so when we are doing independent verification, it looks very much like the enhancement areas, because these are the things that will be looked at. Business registration and clearances, your compliance support. So it's different from the enhancement areas because you are also, it's similar but different because when you reach the point of independent verification, it is assumed that you've enhanced everything that there is to enhance. So we'll look at your compliance support, your third-party risk again, monitoring and improvement again, policies and procedures, bribery risks management. This time we won't look at just the risks, but how you manage those risks, how you report, what your collection action looks like. So these are the things that we'll look at again, just to give you an idea. And that compliance support are the things that we'll look at. Are you giving reminders to your staff about ethics? Do you have a compliance checklist? Do we have frequent ethical compliance training? What are your policies for conflict management? We'll look at your third-party risks. These are the things that we'll be looking at when we look at your third-party risks. We'll look at how you monitor and improve your system. We'll look at your incident records and how your improvement records are. We'll look at your policies and procedures. These are just some of the policies and procedures we'll look at. We'll look at how you manage bribery risks. And these are some of the things that we'll look at. Your gift policy, political and charitable contributions. You have a policy. We'll look at how you report. We'll also look at what is your statement, and that's why you sign the integrity pledge, because we actually advise that the integrity pledge will be displayed boldly in your company, in your reception or something, where people can easily see that you have made a commitment to have your business dealings with integrity. So just a short recap. What is Ethics First? I'd like to know, share with me in the chat box. It's just, we are coming to a close and I've been talking so much, and I'd like to know from you, what is Ethics First? Please share with me in the chat box. I want to know. Thank you so much. Francisca is saying how to make the business competitive and sustainable. Yes, thank you so much, Francisca. I'd like to know, what is ethics first? One more answer, please. I'd like to know from you. I want to know. I want to know. What is ethics first? One last answer, Mrs. J. Maybe I'll go back and recap. Yes, how to reduce trade barriers. Thank you so much. But ethics first is a tool, as you have all said, and you are also spot on. Thank you so much. Ethics first is a tool, a repository, a resource to help you demonstrate that you have a commitment to ethics and integrity, while also helping your company to put in place these measures to ensure that your company is sustainable over the long term. Over the long term. And now I have a question for you. Please share yes or no for me in the chat box. Do you think your company will benefit from solving with ethics first? Please share with me in the chat box, yes or no. Thank you so much. Yes, Mbozuri says ethics first helps to make your business ethical and globally friendly through a database, a resource, and a mechanism. Thank you so much. And the yes has come in. The yeses are now coming in so hot and fast. Yes, Comfort. Yes, Abna. Yes, Veronica. Doreen also says yes. Thank you so much for these yeses. And I just want to remind you that to achieve a healthy level of prevention, it is important that you should aim to develop an ethical corporate culture. And the goal is always to enhance your company's profile to boost your competitive advantage with ethics first. Compliance is everybody's business and not just the business of the business owner or the compliance officer. And I'd like to end you with this. Operate with the 10-80-10 principle of ethics in mind. And the 10-20-10, the 10-80-10 principle of ethics says that 10% of your employees will be ethical no matter what you do. They'll be ethical. 80% of your employees will either be ethical or unethical. It really depends on how the company is structured and the systems in place in the company. And then there's another 10 that will be unethical no matter what. And so what that means is that by having a compliance system, you stand the chance of having 90% of your employees being compliant, because there's a 10% that will be compliant no matter what. And there's an 80% that you can ensure will be compliant by putting in the right structures and policies and procedures. There's unfortunately a 10% that will be unethical no matter what you do. So we aim to get the 90% so that we can minimize the 10%. Yes, please. I see a message from Veronica. Yes, we will share the slides as well as the recording for this session with you after the session. This brings us to the end of our session. And now I'd like to know from you. Please share with me in the chat box or unmute if you would like to. Please share with me what is a key learning that you had today. What is a key learning that you have today? Please share with me in the chat box one key learning from our session today. We are about wrapping up. Thank you so much, Francisca. The 10-80-10 principle of ethics. Thank you so much, Francisca. What did you learn? What will you take away from you when someone asks you after this session? What was one thing that you picked up? Please share in the chat box. Okay, thank you so much. When we started this session, oh, thank you so much, Veronica. Veronica says, doing business the right way in order to attract investors. Thank you. Doreen also says, how I structure my business. Thank you. You are so spot on. Will determine how ethical your workers will be. Comfort says, I need to have a good database. You are so right. And Mbozuri says, doing ethical business may be costly, but gives your business, oh, thank you so much, ladies. You have warmed my heart this afternoon. It seems like we are all saying the same things and singing the same song. And so when we started this session, we said that we would investigate the need to prevent corruption for the sustainable success of organizations, and we would explain how a company can get listed on ethics first. Have we been able to do this? If we've been able to do this, please, can you give me a yes in the chat box? And going back to the lessons that we learned, Nana Sewa also said that she's learned about the values of an ethics first company. Thank you so much. I was asking, have we been able to answer? Yes, Veronica says yes. Nana Sewa also says yes. Thank you so much, Veronica and Nana Sewa. If we've been able to meet our objectives, oh yes, Vanessa also says yes. Comfort also says yes. Thank you so much. If we've been able to meet our objectives, what are the questions, comments, or clarifications that you may require? Please share with me in the chat box or unmute. What are the questions, comments, or clarifications that you may require? If you have no questions, comments, or clarifications, this brings us to the end of this session, and I'd like to share with you before I see some questions coming up in, but I have an evaluation that I'd like to share with you. So can you please fill this evaluation form as I enter, and the form is in 2 parts. So please, when we are done filling this first batch of questions, I will give you a next batch of questions to answer for me. And I will be answering your questions in the chat box while you fill my evaluation. And it's in 2 parts, please. So please answer the first batch and I'll give you the second batch to answer. So Francisca, no, there's no cost implications with regards to registration. However, there is a slight cost implication when you are progressing and you need to have the lab, the lab, as well as the compliance lab, as well as the training for your board of governors and the training for your management team when you are progressing to silver and gold. And there's also a cost of the third party when you reach gold. But registering to be on the database itself is free. It is progressing to the different listings that come with a small cost for the consultants, where the training and the consulting services are concerned. Just a reminder that please fill out the evaluation. I have only 2 people who have filled out my evaluation so far. Please fill out our evaluation so we can know how we did and how we can be better in our next session.
It is about improving the services for all of us. So please help us serve you better. Thank you. Please, it's anonymous, so kindly fill for us. So you fill by clicking on the answer that best suits you. Just take your cursor and click in the bullet, the round circle. Then you move on to the next one and you click in that circle again, and then you continue. It goes down. So there are 10 questions here. We will be most grateful if you could fill for us. Thank you. Oh, Baba, we have 8 now. I knew they would.
Yes, we have 8. I'm excited.
They are our fellow women. We know they will fill for us. So I'm
They
waiting.
have, yes, they will.
Thank you so much.
Please keep filling. Thank you so much. Yes.
So one means poor, 2 means it wasn't good at all. It was 3 means it's average, 4 means it's very good, and 5 is excellent. So unlike the normal classroom, 1 is poor, 2 means 3 means average, 4 means very good, and 5 is excellent. So we just have to remind you of how the scoring goes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I see a raised hand. Akosia, please go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. Hello, Baba. I just got to the office. I just got to the office and I felt you should know I am around.
But thank you so much.
You are finishing now.
Yes, we are wrapping up, but it would be nice to have some. We are doing our evaluation, so I think you can give us your closing remarks while we do the evaluation.
Oh,
I think that at this point, so sorry, just before you start, I think that Mrs. J, with your permission, I'd like to bring up the second batch of evaluation questions.
We have 15. If we can have 5 more, Phil, I'll be most grateful.
Okay, then please, Madam Grace, you can go ahead with your closing remarks.
Nothing much except to say that we want to say thank you to Rainbow Consults for this collaboration, and I know that this is just the beginning or even the continuation of what we did some time ago, and we will continue to collaborate and work together for the development of businesses, especially women. And for my ladies, I want to say congrats, strong women who are helping to build this economy. It's not easy, yet you have been resilient even through the COVID and all the challenges that we face. You are still standing. And I believe that certainly Ghana will continue to be proud of us for what we are doing. I also want to encourage the women. I will be calling, I have your list. I'll be calling you to have a discussion with you on the GNCCI Development Bank of Ghana project that we have embarked on, and to encourage all of you to participate and get onboarded on their platform for hand-holding and preparation to qualify for some long-term loans. So on this note, I want to congratulate all of you for your participation. Thank you so much, Baba.
Thank you so much for all your.
Baba, you were right. I think move on to the next set. So Baba has moved on to the next set. Could you kindly start answering for us? We'll be most grateful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Madam Grace.
Yeah. You are welcome.
Could you kindly start answering the poll for us, please? Baba has put up the second one. Could you kindly answer for us? Thank you so much for those who have started. Thank you. So we encourage the others to also start answering. We'll be most grateful. Oh, there's a poll on the screen. It says workshop evaluation. I see it from my participant screen. It has 9 questions. It says polls. So can you see it now, please? Sorry, sorry, cannot see it. Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I have a suggestion, please. Can you click on, if you're on your phone, can you click on more? And when you click on polls, the poll will pop up.
Yes, that's why I was asking, if you're on your phone. So we have only 9 filled now. Could we have some more, please? Thank you very much, Lena. Thank you very much, Comfort. Shall we have some more, please? Maybe 5 more. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Baba, maybe it's okay to end now.
Yes, please, I think so. I think so. And thank you so much for your time. And I would like to share with us some of the services that we undertake where this compliance is concerned. And please give me a second. I think I'm having some technical issues with my screen.
Do you want me to share?
Yes, please. I seem to be having a few difficulties. But I think I'll be fine.
Okay.
Mrs. J, maybe, I'm so sorry.
No, I think you are fine.
Yes, I think I'm fine now. And so these are the services that we provide. How to transition to a clean enterprise. We provide compliance evaluations. We also draft policies and procedures for our clients. We also do training and capacity development. We track change in compliance monitoring. We also do departmental risk assessments and analysis. We do third-party due diligence and procurement. So if you have a third party and you want to do some due diligence on them, we can do that for you. As we said, your facilitators have been
Margaret Jackson. As I said at the beginning, I'm a master trainer for the IFC. I'm an expert facilitator for the LPI. I also sit on the board of the LPI and I chair the board of the Leaders Force. I am a certified master instructional designer for the IFC, which means that we design training manuals for organizations. We have been doing this for the past 25 years, and we've been working with SMEs across the length and breadth of Africa. So anything SME, if you have a challenge, just give us a call. Those are my contact details. You can give me a call, you can send an email, and we'll be available to support you. Thank you so much. I hand over to Baba.
Yes, and it has been Baba Jackson, also of Rainbow Consults. I think my colleague has said everything, and so we just leave you with saying thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And if you're logging out, when you hover on the middle of your screen, you should see a leave button on the right lower side. And once you click leave, there should also be leave meeting. And so once you click that, it should take you to the end of, it should take you out of this meeting. Thank you all so much once again, and it's been a pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure. Bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you.
You're welcome.